No-Face. No-Face is a mysterious spirit from the movie Spirited Away. At first, he is quiet and follows the main character, Chihiro, because he likes how kind she is. No-Face doesn't talk much and mostly makes small sounds. When No-Face eats someone, he takes on their personality and voice. When he is calm, he is shy and gentle. But when he eats greedy workers at the bathhouse, he turns into a loud and demanding monster. He starts throwing gold around, making the workers want to serve him. However, when Chihiro refuses his gold, he becomes angry and eats even more. He grows bigger and scarier, but deep down, he just wants to be liked. Later in the movie, Chihiro feeds him a special dumpling that makes him spit out everything he ate. He returns to his quiet self and follows Chihiro on a train ride to visit Zeniba, a kind witch. With Zeniba, No-Face finally finds a peaceful place where he can be himself. Forest Spirit. The Forest Spirit is from the movie Princess Mononoke. It is also called Shishigami, which means deer god, and it can change into the Night Walker, a giant glowing figure that walks through the forest at night. The Forest Spirit lives in the cedar forest and protects the land. It has the power to heal, as it helps Ashitaka, the main character, by healing his wound. However, it does not remove his curse. Lady Eboshi, a leader who wants to expand her iron-making village, sees the forest spirit as a threat. She believes that by cutting off its head, she can gain its power and make humans stronger. She shoots the forest spirit as it changes into the Night Walker, causing its body to release a dark, destructive force. Everything it touches begins to die, and the land starts to wither. Ashitaka and San, a girl raised by wolves, work together to return the forest spirit's head. Once they do, the destruction stops, and new plants begin to grow. The forest spirit has many incredible abilities. It can cure sickness and wounds with its touch. Wherever it steps, plants grow quickly. With just a look or a breath, it can take away life from any creature. It dies and is reborn in cycles, especially during full moons and new moons. It can gracefully walk over rivers and lakes without sinking. The forest spirit is neither good nor evil. It simply controls both life and death. Totoro. Totoro is a giant friendly forest spirit from the movie My Neighbor Totoro. Even though Totoro is very large, he moves quietly and can even fly by spinning a magical top. He doesn't talk, but he makes deep growly sounds and loves to laugh. In the movie, two sisters, Satsuki and Mei, move to the countryside and discover Totoro living in a nearby forest. Mei is the first to meet him when she follows two smaller Totoros into the woods. She finds the big Totoro sleeping and happily curls up on his fluffy belly. Later, Satsuki also meets Totoro at a bus stop during a rainy night. She kindly gives him an umbrella, and Totoro enjoys listening to the raindrops bounce off it. As a thank you, he gives the sisters a magical bag of acorns. Totoro has special powers. He can make plants grow very fast, and one night, he helps the girls grow a huge tree by leading a fun dance under the moonlight. He also flies with them high above the trees, playing music on his magical flute. But Totoro is not just playful. He also helps when there is trouble. When Mei gets lost while trying to visit her sick mother, Satsuki asks Totoro for help. He happily calls the cat bus, a magical bus that looks like a giant cat, to take Satsuki to find her sister. Thanks to Totoro's help, the sisters reunite safely. Kashira. The Kashira are three strange and bouncy heads that appear in Spirited Away. Unlike normal creatures, they don't have bodies. They move by rolling or bouncing around. Even though they don't talk, they seem to understand what's going on around them. The Kashira live in the bathhouse run by Yubaba, a powerful witch. They are always close to her, so they might be her bodyguards, servants, or even just her pets. When Chihiro first visits Yubaba's office to ask for a job, the Kashira stare at her and bounce around, as if they are trying to figure out who she is. Later in the movie, they are given an important job. Yubaba orders them to get rid of Haku, a dragon spirit who is badly hurt. They try to push him down a chute, but Chihiro arrives just in time to stop them. Soon after, Yubaba's twin sister, Zeniba, turns the Kashira into a copy of Bo, Yubaba's giant baby son. Yubaba doesn't realize that this is a trick, so she treats the fake Bo as if he were real. When the real Bo returns, the magic disappears, and the Kashira turns back into three bouncing heads. Yubaba is shocked and confused, but by then, the Kashira leave the room, and they are not seen again for the rest of the movie. Ohmu. The Ohmu are intelligent creatures from Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. They look like enormous pill bugs with tough green shells and many glowing eyes. Even though they are insects, they are not simple bugs. They are highly intelligent, have deep emotions, and can even communicate using telepathy. They care deeply about nature and all living things in the toxic jungle. The Ohmu are very peaceful when left alone. However, if they feel threatened, or if you harm the jungle, they become extremely dangerous. Their eyes turn bright red, and they charge in massive herds, destroying you or anything in their way. This terrifying event is called the Great Wave, and it has happened in the past, wiping out entire cities. Nausicaa, the main character of the movie, understands the Ohmu better than most people. She knows they are not just scary monsters, they are protectors of nature. When she finds an empty Ohmu shell, she explains that it is incredibly strong and can be used to make weapons and tools. Long ago, the world was ruined ruined by pollution, and the toxic jungle started to grow. The Ohmu were created to help clean the land, but many people feared them instead of understanding their purpose. In the story, people from Peyit attack the jungle, which makes the Ohmu go on a rampage. They stampede toward the Valley of the Wind to destroy everything, but Nausicaa bravely steps in and stops them. God Warrior. The God Warrior is a giant ancient weapon from Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. It was created long ago as a powerful bioweapon meant to control humanity. These creatures were used during the 7 Days of Fire, a terrible event that destroyed much of the world. Their bodies were made of a mix of metal and flesh, and they could shoot deadly energy beams from their mouths. This energy was so strong that it could destroy entire cities in seconds. After the 7 Days of Fire, most of the God Warriors were destroyed or had fallen apart. By the time Nausicaa's story takes place, only their broken remains can be seen across the land. However, one God Warrior is found underground in Pejit. The people there hope to use it as a weapon, but Princess Kushana, a leader from another kingdom, wants it for herself. When the God Warrior is finally awakened, it is weak and unstable. Its body is falling apart, and it cannot hold itself together. Despite this, Kushana tries to command it to destroy the Ohmu. The God Warrior obeys and uses its powerful energy beam, but it quickly collapses and dies. It is too old and too damaged to be the unstoppable weapon it once was. In the Nausicaa manga, the story of the God Warrior is a little different. When the creature wakes up, it believes that Nausicaa is its mother. At first, Nausicaa does not want to take care of it, but she realizes that it only listens to her. She names it Oma, and together they travel to the city of Shuwa, where they destroy a dangerous place called the Crypt. Yubird. Yubird serves Yubaba the witch. She is one of Yubaba's servants and also acts as a spy for her. At one point in the story, the Yubird is transformed into a much smaller creature by Zeniba. After being changed, she becomes a little crow-like creature that looks like a fly. In this new form, her name changes to Haidori, which means flybird in Japanese. Despite this transformation, Yubird still keeps some of Yubaba's characteristics, like her face. After being turned into this tiny creature, Bo, Yubaba's giant baby, starts to like Yubird. They can be seen together later in the film, riding on Chihiro's shoulder and playing around. Even though it's not clear if they had a good relationship before her transformation, they seem to get along well after. Yubird is never actually given a name in the English version of the film. She is simply called that bird by Haku, one of the main characters. Blob Men. In Howl's Moving Castle, the Blob Men are creepy magical creatures that work for the Witch of the Waste and Madame Suliman. They are not real people but are made using magic. Their main job is to follow orders and do whatever their masters tell them. Most of the time, they look like humans, but something about them feels off. They have black bodies, small dot-like eyes, big noses, and missing fingers or toes. They can also change their shapes to fit into small spaces, but they don't really need to because they can already pass through walls. Some Blob Men wear green soldier uniforms and have sharp teeth. These belong to Madame Suliman, the powerful sorceress who works for the king. Others are bodyguards for the Witch of the Waste, and they help her move around by carrying her special chair, called a palanquin. The Witch of the Waste uses Blob Men to spy on people and do her dirty work. She keeps them inside a tiny teapot and calls them out by knocking her cane on the ground. When they come out, they spread across the area, searching for anything their master wants. Blob Men also work for Madame Suliman. She sends them to capture Howl and Sophie, the main characters of the movie. They chase after them and even try to break into Sophie's hat shop.